Good afternoon. I am Yen Hui, one of a group of students from the National University of Singapore looking to improve our environment, to make Singapore a better place for all to live, work and play. We are proposing green roofs to achieve this objective. Whether you have heard of green roofs or not, we have interesting ideas to present to you, starting from the basics of why green roofs are beneficial to our country and to propose improvements for current practices of green roofing in Singapore. We will also consider practical aspects of how our proposals could be implemented, so rest assured that you will not be listening to lofty ideals without substantiation. Now, allow me to walk you through this journey of our proposed ideas for green roofing in Singapore. To do that, we will first have to understand problems faced and how green roofs can help.
Singapore has achieved tremendous success in just half a century of inclusive city building. In fact, she has been consistently ranked as the most livable city in Asia due to efficient infrastructure and ease of conducting business. However, just like any other nation, Singapore has seen her fair share of problems, and one of the most important problems in recent years is the rising frequency of flash floods, mainly due to an increase in rainfall. In 1980, average rainfall was 96 millimeters per month, but by 2012 it had risen to 117 millimeters per month.
Besides the problem of floods, Singapore also experiences city problems, one of which includes the urban heat island effect. Many buildings in cities have dark surfaces and roads paved with asphalt. These absorb a lot of light and radiation energy and convert them to heat energy, which is released to the surroundings. So, cities trap heat and are a lot warmer than rural areas. The good news is, green roofs can greatly alleviate these aforementioned problems and offer additional benefits too.
A green roof is a roof of a building that is partially or completely covered with vegetation. Specific support structures are required to grow plants on the roof, and a typical green roof usually has 4 basic layers. The uppermost layer consists of plants. Soil supports plant growth as it contains nutrients. The water retention layer absorbs water from rainfall and retains it for the plant's use. The root barrier layer separates plant roots from the surface of the ceiling beneath. So what can green roofs do for you? Green roofs can alleviate the problem of flooding, as large amounts of water can be stored in the water retention layer. Also, plant roots absorb large amounts of water, which is gradually discharged through the process of evaporation and transpiration from leaves. These prevent the large amount of water from being discharged at a time after heavy rain, and therefore reduce flooding potential. Also, green roofs alleviate the urban heat island effect through the cooling effect of transpiration. Increased air moisture lowers air temperature. This also prevents air in the upper layers near the roof from being heated up as much. Green roofs also alleviate noise pollution and air pollution. The thick layer of plants and soil absorbs noise, especially so for low-frequency sounds, such as the whirring of airplanes overhead. In addition, air pollution is reduced partially due to gases exchanged by plant leaves and the ability to capture airborne particulate matter. Last but not least, green roofs beautify the city and add much-needed aesthetic value to dull concrete surfaces.
In 2009, NParks and URA jointly pilot-tested 2 complementary incentive schemes to encourage high-rise greenery. This scheme applies to sky gardens of all forms, including green roofs. However, not much appears to have come of this in recent years. 40 buildings in a span of 3 years is somewhat encouraging if all of these are new buildings, but this incentive also applies to greenery retrofitted onto existing buildings. So we can see that these incentives are not working as well as expected, and not enough focus has been placed on green roofing existing buildings. Ironically, existing buildings are the easiest to green roof. It is thus somewhat encouraging that the authorities have begun exploring green roofing in HDB estates in recent years. In particular, they have implemented a pilot project known as Tree Lodge at Punggol.
The Tree Lodge at Punggol project is Singapore's first Green Mark Platinum Award housing project. It was launched in March 2007 under the Build to Order scheme as a proof of concept for sustainable building practices. One of the highlights is a prefabricated, lightweight and modular green roof system. This system provides instant greening without requiring more hacking and is low maintenance. The modularity of such a system permits versatility in landscape design.
To find out what residents think of this program, we decided to conduct a few interviews of our own.
Hi, I'm at Tree Lodge and Punggol. Let's interview some residents.
Are you aware of the green roof at 3 Lodge at Punggol?
Yes, I'm aware, but I don't know when is it. I don't know when I don't know when they're going to start it like actually.
Oh, okay.
I only heard of it, but I don't know the confirmation. I'm not quite sure actually.
Okay. Do you think that it will improve your life in any way?
But right now I think should be okay already like actually what they are doing for us this relaunch here. But if they're gonna get it something for the rooftop, be much more better. Maybe for much more fresh air and view all that for the kids and the family like actually.
请问你知道3 Lodge at Punggol 有屋顶绿化这回事？
屋顶绿化我就不知道，我只知道它有那个太阳板，我不知道它有绿化。
哦，就屋顶绿化。
有那边有屋顶啊，那边我们这边没有。他是说我们这个有没有？我不知道。
不知道。你知道屋顶绿化是什么对吧？
屋顶绿化就是应该要种一些草之类的吧。
然后你觉得它会让你生活过得好一点？
绿化那肯定的呀，
你觉得会怎么样让你生活？
绿化呀，应该是屋顶种类是东西的话，顶楼的话它的温度应该会减低的。
Newly developed properties constitute a relatively small proportion of the total roofing area that could potentially benefit from green roofing. Rather than focusing on these, we should shift the focus to existing housing estates because of their larger urban footprint. Moreover, HDB is Singapore's largest single landowner, so it can make the largest difference if it adopts a blanket green roofing policy. While the 3 Lodge incurred construction costs of the order of 5% more expensive than usual, its continued functioning attests to the long-run cost-effectiveness and sustainability of such design. We propose extending the approach taken here to existing HDB estates, retrofitting them even as new ones are built. Retrofitting existing estates has a long-standing precedent in the lift upgrading program. But will residents feel the same way about greenery? Let's find out with Alex Q.
然后我们现在就是想要把这一个计划扩张到其他 HDB 的。你觉得这个计划好吗？
好啊，很好啊。
谢谢。We are proposing to include green roofs to other existing HDB flats also. So, what do you think of this proposal?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good idea actually.
Green roofs in HDB estates can solve problems, but they can provide opportunities too. A blanket green roofing policy implies the need for huge manpower to maintain the green roofs. This may put a large burden to HDB or NEA. So we propose that residents be given the opportunity to care for green roofs in paid employment. This is socially beneficial, especially for the elderly or those who have retired who are still fit and would like to contribute to the community. Thus, they will be able to do something useful in their free time. Also, there is the prospect of urban farming.
To assess the feasibility of this proposal, we conducted an interview with a researcher from the HDB Research Institute. Unfortunately, he declined to be recorded in person. Instead, he agreed to a reenactment of the interview based on the original transcript. What about renting out green roofs for urban farming?
Urban farming is okay for low buildings since its loading is quite heavy. I don't think it's useful for heavy units. Residential flats might not work too, since usually there are tanks and machine rooms at the rooftop. So I would think this would be feasible in Singapore. But however, if it's multi-story house, then there's no issue.
Oh, I've learned so much today. Thank you so much for accepting our interview from Paul. Thank you so much.
In conclusion, there exists support and incentive structures to encourage green roofing in new urban developments, particularly in the downtown area. However, these constitute a relatively small proportion of the total roofing area that could potentially benefit from green roofing. Also, the limitation in the downtown area ensures that only private developers stand to benefit. Instead of subsidizing the incidental costs of new private developments, we propose instead that funds be allocated for retrofitting existing public housing estates. This will make Singapore a better place for the 80% of people currently living in HDB estates. And the positive externality of such a measure will also impact the rest of the population. Together, we can build a better Singapore starting from the heartland.